Khwarazm in the early 13th century was not a small kingdom. It was not a piece of cake for any army to conquer, and even to invade Khwarazm. It stretched from the Caspian Sea to the Indus River, controlling the trade routes of the Silk Road. Its ruler, Sultan Muhammad II, had the wealth, the soldiers, and the land to stand among the greatest kings of his age. But history remembers him for his weakness, not of his power. Sultan Muhammad was brilliant but paranoid. His decisions were not based on bravery but on the basis of his weak political approach. His fear of losing his kingdom made him coward. If he had defended Otrar and supported his governor, Genghis Khan would not think of moving forward. When Otrar was surrounded by Mongols, he should have surrounded them. An attack from both sides would have given a different story. But he chooses to stay in his palace, considering the strong walls of Otrar are good enough to hold any army. Weak leadership and wrong decisions pushes the nations down, and moral and cost is liberty. He distrusted his own commanders, especially his most capable general, Timur Malik, fearing that their popularity might overshadow his authority. Instead of empowering strong leaders, he is surrounded by the advisors who just praise him for any decision and pleases him by all means, rather than suggesting him in a way that he avoids in making wrong decisions. For these reasons, while the commanders debate strategy, the Sultan dismisses their advice in an irritated way. He is not ready to take any good suggestions, especially from the loyalist commanders. His mother, Turkan Khatun, plays a powerful political role. Historians record that her interference in the administration created confusion and division. This weakens the empire at the worst possible time, right before the Mongol storm. When Genghis Khan sent a peaceful caravan to Khwarazm, carrying silk, gold, and a simple request for trade, the Sultan made a catastrophic decision. He allowed his governor in Otrar to kill the entire caravan, accusing them of being spies. This single act sealed the fate of the empire. A single decision, a single moment of pride, and an empire was doomed. He had awakened a monster, a destroyer of nations. Genghis Khan is not just a warrior, but a ruler who has no heart for humanity. The killing of thousands of innocents means nothing to him. Nothing can touch his heart. He was a killing machine forged in childhood tragedy, warfare, and betrayal. By the time the Khwarazm insult reached him, he had already united the Mongol tribes through blood and fear. A big army is behind him, who are brutal like him and even worse than him when it comes to following his rules. They follow his commands blindly, as not following him is like going against him, and the penalty is death. Because of Genghis Khan's brutal Yasa laws, the killing of innocents become part of their war strategy. Such brutality has never been seen before in human history, and unfortunately, Mongols were proud of that. His armies were unmatched. He got riders who could travel 100 miles a day. Communication through a relay system made their communication faster than any king using that time. Engineers skilled in sieges, catapults, and use of unique fire weapon scouts who mapped every river, hill, and gate months before the attack. Means Mongol planned thoroughly before attacking any estate. When the Mongols reached Otrar, they did not attack in haste. They besieged it for 5 months, using a combination of psychological warfare and relentless assaults. And when they breached the walls, they killed almost everyone. The governor who murdered the caravan, he was executed with molten silver poured into his eyes and ears, recorded by multiple chroniclers. But Otrar was only the beginning. What comes next has shaken the foundations of the Islamic world. In early 1220, the people of Bukhara woke to a strange sight on the horizon. A thin black line, spreading, growing, until the desert itself seemed to rise. Dust clouds rise like a massive storm. Women rush to rooftops. Soldiers run onto the walls. The ground trembles under thousands of hooves. This was not an army. This was a moving world of destruction. Inside the gates, chaos erupts. Citizens run. Imams gather people in mosques. Market stalls overturn. Children cry. Doors slam. Bukhara was the treasure of the Islamic world. Its scholars, its mosques, its libraries. But its defenses were weak. Its leadership is divided, and its soldiers unprepared for what was coming. The city had only 20,000 defenders, most poorly trained local fighters. Outside stood the Mongol vanguard, 200,000 men, Mongol troops surround the city in a perfect ring. The Mongols didn't simply arrive. They swallowed Bukhara like a predator, encircling its prey. They cut supply lines, captured wells, and blocked every escape. Then, silence. A terrifying silence. Genghis Khan believed that terror was a weapon, and silence was its first strike. Catapults roll forward. Flaming pots of oil are launched. Explosions rip across the rooftops. Fire leaps from house to house. The Mongols didn't just want to conquer Bukhara. They wanted to break it. Within 2 days, the outer defenses crumble. Walls crack. Doors shatter. People rush to the great mosque, begging for help. The massive gate of Bukhara opens, not from Mongol force, but because the city elders surrender. A procession of Mongol cavalry enters, calm, disciplined, terrifying. Then comes Genghis Khan. He rides straight to the great mosque. The entire city watches in silence. Inside the mosque, he climbs the minbar. And here, in one of the holiest places of Islam, he spoke the words that would echo across centuries. I am the punishment of God. If you had not committed great sins, God would not have sent someone like me upon you. The city trembles. The Mongols separate the citizens. Soldiers executed craftsmen, enslaved women and children, taken scholars forced into labor, libraries burned. Bukhara did not fall in a day. It died slowly, painfully, as every symbol of its culture was erased. The famous libraries of Bukhara, where scholars once preserved knowledge of centuries, go up in flames. The sky darkens with smoke. For centuries, Bukhara had lit the world with knowledge. But in 1220, its light was extinguished. Samarkand, the pride of Khwarazm. Samarkand was not just a city, it was the beating heart of the Silk Road. But inside, panic grows. Messages arrive. Bukhara has fallen. The Mongols are coming. Sultan Muhammad II had promised to defend Samarkand, but when the Mongols approached, he ran. He escaped with his elite guards, leaving the city defenseless. A city cannot survive when its king flees, and Samarkand knew it stood alone. Samarkand's walls were strong. Its army was large, around 100,000 men, but most were untrained, poorly equipped, no will to fight back, and terrified after hearing of Bukhara's fate. The commanders argue, shall we attack? Shall we defend? Shall we negotiate? No unified decision. A divided army, even behind strong wall, is already defeated. The Mongol army surrounds Samarkand, not from one side, but from 4 directions at once. A masterpiece of strategy. Siege towers rise, catapults fire. Engineers dig under the walls. The Mongols bring Chinese siege specialists, catapults capable of throwing 200-kilogram stones towers covered in wet hides, flamethrowers using naphtha. This was not a normal raid. This was a scientific siege, engineered for total destruction. As a war strategy, the Mongols pretend to retreat. Samarkand's commanders cheer. Some soldiers leave their posts to celebrate. Then suddenly, a massive Mongol reserve army appears from behind the hills. The retreat was a trick for sure, which untrained army of Sultan Muhammad cannot foresee. A section of the wall gives way. Mongol cavalry pours in like a river of steel. The city streets turn into battlegrounds. Archers fire from rooftops. Mongols set fire to houses. Women flee carrying children. The defenders break. Some throw down weapons, some hide in madrasas, others run to the citadel. When Samarkand fell, the Mongols executed tens of thousands of soldiers. They enslaved tens of thousands more. Skilled workers were taken to Mongolia. The city's artisans, the best in Central Asia, vanished overnight. Mongol soldiers recording lists of craftsmen. Inside the citadel, the last elite guards hold out. For 3 days they resist. But the Mongols bring giant siege rams. Gates crack. Smoke fills the fortress. Finally, the last door falls. Samarkand had stood for centuries, but it could not stand against the storm of the steppes. The famous blue domes crack. Madrasas burn. Ancient manuscripts turn to ash. The fall of Samarkand was not just the fall of a city. It was the fall of a cultural universe. A civilization that had once connected China to the Mediterranean now lay in ruins. With the fall of Bukhara and Samarkand, the Khwarazmian Empire was broken. But Genghis Khan was not done. His wrath would burn across Nishapur, Herat, Merv, and beyond. That we will explore it in our next episode. It is just the beginning of Genghis Khan.